Hello there.
There he is! Hey, we've been waiting for you!
Where have you been?
But none of that matters now. You're not here for that. You came here to see what I think about the new Thor movie. I'd say that this is better than Ragnarok in some ways. It's worse than Ragnarok in others. If Ragnarok was a C, I'd give this movie a C+ just because it does some things better. There will be spoilers in here, by the way, if you didn't know that already. Christian Bale, better villain than Hela. Not as cool as Hela. Hela looked cooler, but they didn't do enough with her. Christian Bale does an all-around great job. He gives you that intimidation type factor. Hela did too, but he has far more layers to him than Hela did. The God Butcher was originally just a normal mortal who loses his daughter to what I believe is starvation or lack of hydration, stuff like that. They were in a desert. And he prays to his god Rapu to save her, but of course his prayers fall on deaf ears. He buries his daughter next to him, which is also sad. The Necrosword, which is the new MacGuffin in this movie, calls out to him, which leads him across the desert into this oasis where his god Rapu is there, and Rapu reveals himself to be an asshole, like most gods in all fiction seem to be.
The gods are petty and pathetic.
He laughs at Gorr and tells him he's easily replaceable.
I can have another you in a minute.
The MacGuffin sword then offers itself to Gorr, which he then uses to lop off Rapu's head in the most PG-13 way you can lop off somebody's head. Immediately, he does the cliche, well, since I was wronged by this group and or individual from this group, I think they're all bad, and I will proceed to kill them all, and I will dedicate my life to it, even though the sword will kill you eventually in the end. He's like, oh, I don't care, as long as I get to kill as many gods as possible. And then when we get to gods in this movie, it brings up a multitude of issues, the same issues that were brought up in the Eternals. Why are there all these uber fantastic powerful gods just out there, but yet they didn't do anything to stop Thanos? Just like the Celestials didn't do anything to stop Thanos. Gorr then abducts the children of New Asgard that's located on Earth to lure out Thor to come to him to bring him Stormbreaker so he can use it to open up this thingamajig to talk to Eternity, which is now the second most powerful being we've ever seen in the MCU behind the Living Tribunal that was showcased for all of 2 to 3 seconds in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Sadness. He wants to talk to Eternity so Eternity can bring back his daughter. And Eternity exists in the center of the universe, but I thought Eternity was the universe in which they reside. I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of particulars about it. Yet again, why didn't Thanos do this? Why didn't Thanos go and get Stormbreaker to do this? Wait, Stormbreaker didn't exist prior to Infinity War. But yet Stormbreaker's on this mural that showcases he needs it to, I don't know. Of course, everyone being the main characters, they thought Gorr is doing this because he wants to just kill all the gods, and that's what he's going to do once he reaches eternity. His wish will be to kill all the gods, when in actuality, it's that one wish to bring his daughter back. My problem with this is that we didn't spend enough time with the daughter at the beginning of the movie. She said all of one sentence, and she had only what seemed to be maybe 2 minutes of screen time, and most of it was just her laying there in her father's arms. Marvel would rather use the idea of a kid dying to replace character development. She may as well have died off screen because she didn't have enough in the way of screen time in order for us to develop a connection to her other than the idea of a kid dying, which they use to further people's sympathies rather than showcasing us her personality. Valuable screen time was instead used on shit like this.
Oh, you flipped too hard, damn it!
Look at them objectifying Thor. Also, do not be fooled by this movie's trailer. The Guardians of the Galaxy are in this maybe 10%, if that. In the scene where Thor gets turned into a godly stripper, he asks Zeus for help, but Zeus doesn't want to help because that MacGuffin sword can kill gods. They make 2 jokes about orgies. Thor asks Zeus again. Zeus disagrees. He's an asshole. Thor takes his lightning bolt, Zeus's lightning bolt, and one hits him with it, only to find out at the end, in the ending cutscene, Zeus survived. A lightning bolt through the damn chest. I don't know how. I guess gods will be gods, whatever. He survives this, and then some dude gets introduced at the end. I don't know who that is. I could look it up right now, but I don't know. It's just another, oh, look at that. That's that guy right there. He's going to be the blah, blah, blah. Whatever. And then you have Jane in here. Jane actually adds a lot of good stuff in here in this movie. I thought they'd make Thor out to be just inferior and incompetent like they've done with some of these other iterations of man version of hero, woman version of hero, and then a woman is just made to be so damn competent over the men, and the men just look foolish. Like you have Bruce Banner over here not thinking of something that Shuri thought of. Like, okay, Shuri is smart, but that's fucking Bruce Banner. Why can't Bruce Banner have his moment in the sun? But he's too busy being made a sideshow gag character to be shit on. Hulk is trash. I'll make a video about that separately. Jane adds a unique element to the movie. She's revealed to have cancer in here. I know a lot of people who are familiar with the comic books, they already know maybe like she had cancer in there and all that. And her becoming Thor-S or Lady Thor is actually draining her lifespan, not helping it. But she just hears the hammer calling to her, and she's like, oh, I gotta go here to the hammer. And then she lifts it. She does this transformation. I just don't understand how Earth in this universe is so ingratiated into the affairs of extraterrestrials and stuff of that nature that they don't have a cure for cancer. Why doesn't Thor know how to cure cancer? You mean to tell me all of Asgard, there's no magical remedies or elixirs or anything that could give Jane and be like, oh, you're done. There you go. 100%. Nope. You've got Tony Stark over here creating time travel, but yet can't come up with a cure for cancer. Cancer is just beyond the realm of impossibility of being able to be dealt with. So Jane dies. I did not expect her to die in this movie. They actually killed her. She dies of cancer, but she ends up helping Thor and saving him through the hijinks of some electrical magics that he puts on these same kids who get abducted, and the kids are able to fend off all of these monsters that Gorr summons. I don't know how they do this. I mean, yeah, they have the powers of Thor, I guess, but they're kids. They're not fighters, and they even say they have no battle experience, but yet the kids just they just mollywop every villain with no casualties, of course, because you can't have kids dying in here except that one, which brings me back to her. Her name is Love, actually, so that was the actual title of this. She will be raised by Thor because Gorr succeeded in his mission, because these MacGuffins would not be introduced if they're not used. He talks to Eternity. Eternity doesn't do anything, just sits there. It looks cool as hell, but it just sits there. And then she comes back. Gorr dies because a sword was the only thing keeping him alive, I guess. And he asks Thor, please take care of her and all of that. You just didn't really do a good job in showcasing this camaraderie between them both. There was no big juxtaposition too much other than what we had to do and make out for ourselves as an audience. The scenes of them fighting in the Shadow Realm with Gorr were cool. Having it black and white, I think that's pretty audacious to do. But Marvel, more often than not, would rather play it safe and stick to this formula, this tired formula to me has ran its course after Infinity War. And they're just not going to take really any risks. When I don't understand why you won't take risks. You have name, brand, 100% golden ticket to do whatever the hell you want. Literally anything you put on screen, millions of audiences are going to go and see. So why not do something that they've never seen before? We want imagination. We want magic. Put that on screen. Why do we have to wait for a team up in order for that to happen? Take some more bold moves with your characters. You've got Korg in here who's gay because his whole race, I guess, are just made up of rock men. That's whatever about that. You do with that what you will. You've got Valkyrie who's stated to be lesbian, I believe. When in Thor Ragnarok, we showed both of them kind of undressing each other with their eyes, and there was this moment of, I don't know, them feeling each other out or this vibe. And I thought they were setting her up to be with Thor. Nope. Because we need Jane to be relevant only to die in this movie. Jane was really unnecessary. She didn't make the movie bad. I just think they wasted her, to be honest. They wasted Natalie and her Portmans. For what? They show us she goes to Valhalla with Heimdall in the last cutscene, but I just see this as a misdirection. I actually would have preferred if she had stayed on as Lady Thor, but I guess they feel differently. Maybe there's a contractual obligation that she has, or maybe she just wants to be through with it. I don't know. It's been so long since she was last relevant, and for her to just appear and die, I don't know. I just don't agree with it. And then you've got the girl in Thor that Thor's raising, who's Gorr's daughter. She has powers and she's the embodiment of eternity, or she's love. So that goes back to the title, Love and Thunder. So it's her and Thor, but she showcases just this perch. Like, even when her father dies in front of her, she's just blank. She doesn't feel anything. It's cool. I like the idea of her being in Thor's care and Thor having something to live for, because that was kind of the idea behind this movie. Thor has seen everyone die that he's close to, but it was joked about so much. I really just don't even know why you guys can't keep things serious. You can't keep a straight face. That scene that he had on board on an Infinity War when he was talking to Rocket, that was his best, most powerful scene as Thor, in my opinion. I expected we were going to see more of that, more of the turmoil that Thor is dealing with, but instead we get godly groins and orgy jokes and these goats that were screaming at a bunch of that. After a point, it just got ear grating, and I'm like, okay, all right, yeah, the goats are funny, and hammer jokes. They had more character development with Thor's hammer in that joke scene where he's grabbing a hammer, and I guess Stormbreaker is jealous of Mjolnir being around, than they did with the father and his daughter. But at the end of the day, if it's entertaining, I guess that's all that matters. I'm probably in the minority of people who are seeing just the constant jokage over and over and over again, the unseriousness of situations. Thor is joking with the kids, they're being abducted. He even jokes about them dying, and he jokes about Lady Sif, I think that's her name, like she loses an arm on this planet, and he's like, maybe your arm is in Valhalla. It's kind of funny, but that's stupid. That's your friend, right? I don't know. Entertainment at the end of the day, maybe that's the most important thing. This isn't a bad movie. It's just, it's all right. It's all right. That's all I have to say. If you've made it this far, tell me what you thought about the movie. Do you plan on seeing it? Did you see it? Do you not like it? What do you think? Or am I just complaining too much? I am now back. Many of what I promised before I left, they will be delivered to you tomorrow, along with the skit and everything else. I do apologize for the wait. Thank you so much. I will see you on the next one.